Well, thanks for stopping in a night shift video. My name is James, and tonight I am joined by this guy over here,
Josh.
Josh, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
It's really good to have you back.
It's been like a month.
Yeah.
And for like an actual episode, it's been even longer.
Yeah. So. Well, I'm happy you're here. Unfortunately, I when I have to come up with a different, like, interesting, scary movie related topic every single week, it gets a little difficult.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to lie. This is my cop-out episode.
That's fine.
Which means I just looked up a bunch of horror news.
Perfect.
And we have a few news stories to talk about. But I think one in particular is really good that you're on for. I think that you might have some things to say about it.
Okay.
So it's actually the first one on my list. You can have a look, but I'm not going to talk about it till the end. Unless I'm totally off base and you have no idea what that is.
Oh, I'm fully aware.
Okay. I thought that this would work well. So we're going to go ahead and knock a couple of the other ones out of the way. We'll come back to that one at the end, because that might be the one that we actually have something to say about.
Perfect.
So first thing then, Art the Clown is getting an official Halloween mask going in all the big Halloween stores this year.
Who's in charge of that? I'm just curious.
Like, it's who makes it?
Well, like, who's the governing body that goes, this is it? They
yeah,
did it.
I don't. Well, there's just like there's a couple like pretty big like costume decoration designer
like the Nike
companies.
Costumes.
Yeah,
like the Disney.
But it's even trashier, you know, because it's Halloween stuff. Like, and yeah, actually last year, Damien Leone and crap, I'm forgetting Art the Clown's actor's name, but Damien's the director and the makeup artist and writer of the movies. They last year teamed up with those guys. You've been in a Halloween store within the last like 5 years or so, right?
Yeah.
They teamed up last year with those guys who make the ones that is like a DVD and you like can like project it or like put it on your TV.
Oh, cool.
And like little visual effects come on. So they teamed up with the guys who do all those last year. So you could like project Art the Clown like in your hallway, like riding down your hallway on a tiny tricycle. And they actually had David Howard Thornton, that's his name.
Nice. From the depths.
They actually had him like come in and like record the video like on a green screen and everything. So it's like actually him, not just some other guy wearing a mask. So it was pretty neat. And then this year, somebody in the industry decided, hey, Art the Clown gets a real mask. It's like a legit latex, like full face, like not like a little plastic one, but like full face mask in two variants.
What?
One normal and one bloodied.
Oh, that's cool. Like I feel like it's definitely unique, especially in terms of I can't think of another character mask that I've seen that is kind of iconic in the last little bit.
Yeah, I think you can buy a Happy Death Day babyface mask, but I don't think that it's like I didn't see any kids wearing it this last Halloween.
Yeah.
And so like I hope that that's the real tell. Like if you actually see anyone wearing it, come trick-or-treating. But either way,
that's cool.
It's cool. And I mean, we've been pretty big supporters of Terrifier here on the show, and I know it's not everybody's bone apple tea, but it's ours. And
it's a scary mask.
It's a good face. He's got a good face. So I'm pretty stoked about that. This is an interesting story.
Okay.
So there was an interview with Cheech, because he's in that Color Out of Space movie.
With Nicolas Cage.
Yes. He plays a little side character in that. And it's kind of his first big jump into horror movies. He also played a few characters in From Dusk Till Dawn. But, you know, that's kind of maybe too adventure-y to really be a horror movie compared to what some people's definitions are. This is his like first like true blue horror movie, apparently.
Unless you think weed is scary.
Yeah. Which, you know.
To each his own.
And he did this interview where they're just saying like, hey, This is the age of reboots. Like,
definitely.
Will there ever be another Cheech and Chong film? And he said, actually, I've been working really, really hard on doing a Cheech and Chong horror movie.
Oh my gosh.
And I want that to happen so bad. So this is actually the quote from his interview. It said, every comedy team before they broke up, they always had a horror movie. I can't talk today. I didn't have enough beer before this episode. Abbott and Costello's Halloween, Abbott and Costello Meet the Monster, Bing Crosby and Bob Hope. Everyone did one. Everyone has a horror movie, so I always wanted to do one. In fact, we did a reunion tour movie, and I really wanted that to be a horror movie, but I didn't have the clout that I used to have with Cheech, so I couldn't talk him into it. It's a nice genre to play with, and you can have a lot of fun with it. Like Get Out. I like that approach to it. He ended up continuing that he's fully aware it's probably never going to happen. They're both in their 80s. Like, right. It's probably not going to happen, but it's an awesome idea, and I really wish it would happen.
I like the idea that, like, Cheech and Chong have this clout system between themselves. They're like, I don't know, you haven't done enough for me to be a part of this with you. Do some more.
I just imagine, like, you have, like, so many, like, harebrained ideas that eventually you're like, okay,
let's make a movie where we just smoke weed.
Just feel like you go back and forth so many times. You're like, oh shit, like this is a big ask, and he's gonna think it's a dumb idea, and he's probably not gonna go with it. But if you had like had like a really good idea that he really liked earlier, and then you're like, hey, but what about this one? Every partnership,
it's like if you
has a give and take.
It's like if you ask a buddy to help you move, but it's like 3 houses and he doesn't know it. Like you need to have a lot of cachet built up to be like, hey, so there's a storage unit and a trailer and an RV that needs to go over there.
We wouldn't know anything about that.
No, not at all.
All right. So the next one I have is another good one for you.
Okay.
Girl on the Third Floor is coming to Netflix February 23rd, cool. 22nd.
It's good for me. I like that movie.
This is one of your tops of the year.
It was. I think I was the only one, but hey,
yeah,
I'll take it.
I think we all pretty much enjoyed it, but
it was in that middle section.
Yeah, it didn't make my tops, but it did make your tops.
It did.
And
it was 4.
Yeah, and so I thought that was cool. So for those that don't know, Girl on the Third Floor is this kind of indie film from some filmmakers in Chicago, and it's actually pretty rad. It stars CM Punk, like the wrestler CM Punk. And I don't even think he's credited as that. I think he's credited as his real name, but it's CM Punk.
What is his real name?
I don't know. It's CM Punk. I don't even think that has anything to do with it. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, you couldn't have that be Charles McAllister Punk. No, you gotta short it up.
What's Kevin McAllister's dad's name? Is it Charles? No, it's Pete, isn't it? This is Pete McAllister, the father. I think that's the line.
I think it is too. Where's Cody?
Where's Cody? He's going to kill us for not knowing the answer to that. That's funny. That's 2 weeks in a row that we've snuck in Home Alone references. Because that's just what we do. We like scary things, and we really like Home Alone, or anything John Hughes, really.
Yeah.
We could probably do like a spin-off podcast just about John Hughes movies, and all of us would be just as into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hit the big boy.
Let's do it.
An Anaconda remake has been announced. So Anaconda was a very big deal in the 90s. I don't know this for sure, but I feel like it was the first like big, hey, there's a bunch of famous people in this scary movie in the 90s, because there were so many of those that came after. It like became a trend. I mean, that's how we got frickin' LL Cool J in Halloween. Like it started
or
here.
LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea. Deepest, bluest. My head is like a shark's fin.
Yep. That's a great example. Deep Blue Sea is a great example of that trend that I feel like really started with Anaconda. And you know what I remember the most about Anaconda is not the movie Anaconda. It is flipping through magazines, because that's a thing that we did in the 90s. video game magazines, whatever. And I just remember seeing the full page Anaconda spread in a lot of magazines that I looked at as a kid in the 90s. And I just remember being terrified of this advertisement, which really was basically all black and kind of had like the silhouette of a big ass snake. And that was enough to scare me.
Yep. I love Anaconda. I know a lot about Anaconda from like various podcasts basically being about, well, like how did this get made?
Oh, yeah.
But like,
I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I have a copy of it. I'm going to grab it.
I love Anaconda. It jump started obviously J-Lo's like movie career really and kind of made her like a star. But there's so many things in it that are so good. Not that this is a podcast about Anaconda.
This episode basically is.
Like John Voight's just insane, weirdly changing, transformative accent. And LL Cool J or not LL Cool J, Ice Cube.
Yep, that's the one.
And just can't remember who one of the characters is, but he's just asleep in the boat like the whole movie, and you never see him. And then he just pops out. Yeah.
I'd tell you who the main character is, but it doesn't have any of the character names on the box. The box says, in the search for a lost civilization, they stumble onto a discovery that will literally take your breath away. Anaconda. It's literally all it says. And then on the front, it also says, it will take your breath away.
I mean, John Voight has a monologue where he talks about being in the arms of your lover. Like when a snake grabs you, it's incredible. It's so good.
All right, so here's a little kind of backstory on Anaconda. So obviously this movie was a thing, and then it spawned 3 sequels and a crossover movie.
I've wanted to see it. I haven't.
With Lake Placid.
Oh yeah. Another terrible but awesome movie.
I think I like that one better. I really like Lake Placid. I have that one on the wall somewhere too. See, this is what I'm saying. For those of you that are VHS collectors, you already understand this, especially if you're a horror VHS collector. If you're not, then here's a little tidbit. If you find it really easily at like Goodwill and Salvation Army, like I have found many copies of Anaconda and Lake Placid, that's how you know like you have one of those ridiculous 90s movies, because they were so like ingrained in pop culture that almost everyone bought it. And so like everyone bought it, everyone had it. Actually, even though I love Scream was the same way. You can almost bet walking into any random thrift store that has a VHS section that you'll find one copy of Scream.
Yeah. And
it's just because everybody had it. And it's the same thing with Anaconda, Lake Placid, and Deep Blue Sea, which I think I also have on the wall somewhere. Like it's the same with all of those types of movies, and they all kind of like fit the same shitty 90s mold. Oh. But you know what? For some of us, there is a certain nostalgia to it, and I think that the nostalgia of the shitty 90s cash grab movie is probably still more endearing than the shitty, overly gory early 2000s movie.
Oh yeah.
The Saw wannabes or the Devil's Rejects wannabes. Mm-hmm. Like I think those are worse. Mm-hmm. So at least there's that. They're
definitely much harder to watch.
Yeah. At least you can have fun with Anaconda.
Right. Oh, it's fun. Oh, it's so fun. It's so good.
So yeah, apparently it is getting a full-scale remake. Columbia Pictures is developing an all-new, all-modern take on the cult movie. I don't know if I'd call it a cult movie.
I don't know about that.
But, they've hired Evan Dougherty, who did Snow White and the Huntsman, the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the newest Tomb Raider.
The one with Alicia Vikander?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I don't think anybody did.
No.
So this isn't necessarily a great pedigree that we're dealing with. He's coming in to write the script. The site sources describe the film as a reimagining of the original, and Columbia says it is going to be a big budget production in the vein of The Meg, which I also did not see.
Usually you want to use better references when you're. I did not see the Meg. I'm sure Jason Statham was just great.
I think we have almost actively avoided like creature features on this show.
Yeah,
we didn't do the Meg. I'm trying to think. Crawl. We didn't do Crawl last year.
Anytime you're stranded in the water, we don't really care. Like all of those movies, don't care.
Yeah, we haven't really touched on any of those, and there's some that are supposed to be pretty good, like
even the alligator one.
Yeah, Crawl. Okay. Yep. And then there was another one that came like late 2018, I think, or maybe early 2019, called Boar or The Boar. I can't remember. It was like an Australian film, I think, that was getting a lot of attention, and it was on Shudder. I fired it up one day on my own, thinking that we might watch it on a Monday. I was like, God, I just can't. Like. I don't know what it is about just like big animals.
I don't know. They seem so like it's realistic, but like not. So I don't think it's that scary.
I don't know. Like
it's just a bigger thing that might kill me.
Right.
Like the Meg. Like just get out of the water. You're fine. Like
yeah, but then you get a Sharknado. And that's how you end up with grizzly sharks.
Grizzly sharks. Oh my gosh.
There's one actually. Amazon Prime is kind of a hotbed of shark movies. It's kind of become like a running joke in the horror podcast world, at least.
That's amazing.
Yeah, if you get on there and just look up shark, there's like a million films, and they're all ridiculous. There's like Super Cyber Shark 4 and Sand Shark and
like sci-fi shark movies.
Just
like Sci-Fi Channel.
Yes,
shark movies.
And there's just millions of them. It's like,
well, I feel it'd be super easy to make. You just need some water and then a really bad CGI guy.
Or in the vein of Sand Shark, no water. I think that's the whole point of that one, is he can just swim on sand. I don't know.
You just bury a rope with a ball on the end and then just pull it through the sand and there's a shark.
It's Tremors, but they're sharks.
I was just going to say Tremors with a fin.
Tremors with a fin.
Hope you're on Gold Darn Rec Room now, didn't you? That's my favorite line in that movie.
God. I want to watch Tremors.
My mom loves that movie. Loves it.
I bet she does.
It's the first horror movie I think. I mean, I guess it's considered horror. It's the first movie that I think I watched with her that was even remotely scary.
Yeah.
That wasn't like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, which isn't a movie.
Ooh, yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's about all we have for this topic. You'll be able to stay tuned, and we'll keep you updated on Anaconda news. Oh, there was one thing that I saw today. The new Saw movie finally got a title. So there's a Saw movie coming out this year. It is written and directed and starring Chris Rock alongside Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
And it just got a title released today. It's going to be called Spiral, I think, from the Jigsaw book or something like that.
I don't like that.
Or from Jigsaw's notebook, something like that.
I don't like colons. I don't like the punctuation. I don't like the body part. Just stay away from colons.
I don't like them in the titles. Cody and I had a discussion last week. It's actually worse though if I guess this one kind of fits though. So if the title comes first, and then after the colon is the name of the series, it's always worse. So there's like Book of Shadows.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Blair Witch 2. Like it's always worse if that's the case. And I guess in this sense, it's kind of the case because the movie's called Spiral, from the Jigsaw notebook or something like that. And like, this is probably gonna not be good then.
I don't care. I want to see Chris Rock.
I want to see
something.
Why he's there, like why he's involved with this project whatsoever, and then now very heavily involved in it. Like, I'm interested, but people are kind of putting out there like, because like the way the title is worded, is it gonna be sort of like an anthology of Jigsaw movies after this, kind of like each one's kind of standalone. And it's like, so this is like Spiral from the Jigsaw notebook, and it's kind of like a Star Wars story, right. Are we gonna get like Hexagon from the Jigsaw Notebook.
Dodecahedron.
Roll a d20.
One guy, oh my gosh. One guy I wish was still alive to be in this movie, because you know he would, is Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
I really wish he was in this movie.
That would be really cool.
I wish he was just in anything, honestly.
That's true.
Or Patrice O'Neal.
Oh, yeah.
Just big black comics. Love them.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder. I don't know. I mean, I know there's this. I don't want to like make this like broad stroke assumption that like every black comic needs to be in Chris Rock's Saw movie.
Where's
but, like,
Hannibal Buress?
It'd be rad. Like, I'm fine with it. Like, oh God, you dropped the stuff. The stuff's getting out. It's all right. It was very precariously balanced on top of the TV. Oh no. Oh no. I think it's going to make it worse.
No, I'm going to nail this.
I had it sitting on the bottom, but if you think this is going to work, you do your thing. Okay, well, that about wraps it up for us here tonight for Night Shift Video. I am James, and this is
Josh.
And we're just saying, thanks for stopping in.